Good morning, everybody. It's a gorgeous Friday. Already it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. Anybody got any lovely plans? Except for work. I also have work. But intend to enjoy some of that sunshine later on. So you've all been voting on the poll, and it looks like the most popular topic so far is spiritual connections. So I, as promised, I'm coming on today to talk about spiritual connections and what they may be. So it is a bit of a huge subject, really, and I guess it starts with our blueprint. So the blueprint that we came with when we entered into this earthly incarnation. So there were things that we needed to learn, that we needed to clear during this earthly incarnation that is either part of our soul's growth that we may not achieved from previous lifetimes, or clearing and cutting ties energetically from previous lifetimes. So it's bigger than just meeting with somebody and thinking, oh, they feel like the right person to have in my life. So it starts there. So some people are already preordained to be in our lives, so to speak. And it could be that, as I said, that's for your growth, or it could be because of lessons. It could be for the experiences that they bring. It could also be that you already had a connection with them in a past life. Now, I believe that everybody that you have a meaningful connection with in this life, you would have known in some form or another in a previous life, that those connections come back again. And it could be that, you know, they're a friend in this life, but they were your father in a previous life, or, you know, they're your parent in this life, but it was somebody that you worked for in a previous life. So the connection may change depending on the way the lesson is learned, because in the previous lifetime, you may not have gained the wisdom, the insight, the blessings, the gifts, the lessons that you needed to do with that combination of relationships. So they switch it up so that you have the opportunity to explore it in a different way, and maybe the lesson or the blessing is easier to find. So that's the first thing. So bear that in mind, that, you know, the people that you're surrounded by were meant to be in your life for a reason. Even if it doesn't feel like it at the time, you know, that could be a really challenging dynamic, but actually there is something in it. So have a think about that. And that actually we can't complain about the people in our life, because in that respect we chose them, because everything that's in our blueprints we chose and agreed to experience in this lifetime for our greatest good, our soul growth, our evolution. So then there are certain kinds of connections that are a bit more specific than just that. So we have, and some of these you may have heard of but not really quite understand what they are. So we have co-creators. So these are the people that you connect with on a constructive level. So they kind of have the same ideas as you. They feel like they're on the same spiritual path as you. And together you are able to kind of co-create something that is equally beneficial for both of your soul's growth. So that's one spiritual connection. And then we have the kindred spirits. So these are not necessarily romantic relationships. These could be family members. These could be friends that you've met along the way, people that have had similar experiences to you, and you've connected at quite a deep level. And then you encourage and support each other on your spiritual journey for your own mutual spiritual development. So those are kindred spirits, and that's a really nurturing, supportive relationship. Then there are twin flames. And the idea behind that is that you are the same soul split. So the very earliest school of thinking around souls and incarnations on Earth, etc., stem from star seeds that, you know, originally we all came from a star. And so this twin flame idea is that it's kind of split within the process and becomes an embodiment of to human form. And so there's an instant connection when you meet them, because you are one of the same person, and it's very intense, very action driven, very passionate, and so that's a twin flame. That's when you've kind of met your match, that you are kind of one of the same person. And then there are soulmates, and that term is bandied about a lot, that people talk about they've met their soulmate. To me, your soulmate is incredibly rare, and it's actually the opposite of the twin flame in that actually it's not that same intense passion. When you meet your soulmate, it's more about a feeling of being at home, of being calm, finding that connection, but also contentment. It's the person that you're most likely to marry, the person that makes you feel stable, that makes you feel whole, that allows you to be your true authentic self without taking. And then you have the karmic connections, the karmic partnerships, and that's what I'm talking about in the very first part of this video, with the people that come back into your life for the lessons, the blessings and the gift, because they are all lessons that turn out to be blessings and gifts when you learn the meaning behind some of these things and the growth that needs to happen. So these are people that you may have very difficult connections with. They may be challenging relationships. They may be uncomfortable relationships, but actually they are there for a reason. And actually, if you can navigate through these relationships, make them more palatable, or realize that actually there needs to be boundary and that those connections are not healthy in your life, and you stop those connections, that actually you break that karmic bond and you are less likely to carry it with you into the next life. Lesson learned, blessing given, gift. I hope that makes sense. If there's anything that you want to ask about that, then of course put it in the comments and I will pick those questions up. I think that the next topic that was most popular was past lives, but I'll check, and it's still open, so keep voting and have a wonderful day. Blessings to you all.